Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Xeno, the personification for crying for help, and we are back with promises to keep. We are continuing Theo's route, and we all know this story beat. We're gonna be rescuing that old you from her house and into that fuck-ass Robinson's house. So fun! Although I wonder how it's gonna go considering this route is mainly focused on Theo rather than Rofi in the last route. I mean, I'm a bit curious. But the last thing we left off on, we just went outside. We're about to start a mission. I edited there because I knew that it was gonna take long, and if I edited when we reached Diana's house, then the next part was gonna be short. Although it did spend some time with other scenes to try to find that missing CG, which I will get. My continuous search goes on. Well, anyway, enough fucking around. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna be saying this because I know it's probably gonna happen in this part, but in the last part, if you notice, and I've noticed, there was dialogue that we have already read before in Rofi's part, and if you recall when I was playing Don Chorus, I said that in between routes I'm going to be skipping the dialogue that we've already read to get to the new ones, maybe read some old dialogue so we get a little bit more context as to what they were talking about. But other than that, I was going to be skipping most of the dialogue that we've already read, so we could get to the good stuff, like the new stuff, basically. That's not going to be the case with this one because one, I can't skip it. I noticed that the skip button wasn't on during those scenes, and that's mostly because the contextual dialogue in regarding Theo, his character, his mental state, considering we now have that context of his past, kind of gives the dialogue, kind of gives the lines new light, basically. So yeah, as much as maybe some of you think we should probably skip some dialogue, it's not gonna happen in this one. I don't know what to say, I'm sorry. But anyway, let's go rescue that old hag. It feels colder than ever before. As I take the door from Theo to let everybody out, I see Ollie shiver and pull his coat tighter around himself. Hunter gives me a smile and a nod, taking the door in turn for me. We follow out onto what we think is the covered sidewalk. Artemis and Hunter head immediately for their houses, and Theo and I grab the shovels laying right next to the porch. The sheer volume of snow is almost unbelievable. Theo and Hunter's shoveling work from the previous days basically unnoticeable. When I beheld it all 3 days ago, I felt wonder. Now I feel only fear and apprehension. I find myself looking to Theo for reassurance, and each time he gives it to me, in the form of his soft, gentle smile. The fierce wind whips the snow into uneven piles. Paths close to walls are the worst, with miniature hills heaped halfway up the sides of houses. Cars unfortunate enough to be left out on the street are almost completely hidden. Vague shapes in the expanse of white, punctuated by a side mirror or the reflection of an exposed headlight. Nobody will be driving anywhere for quite a while. We trudge along in single file, Theo at the vanguard, the rest of us following the path he makes. He does his best to pick the shallowest paths, where the snow is only knee-height at most. Finally, we arrive at number 27, the wind tearing at our coats. Theo gestures towards a narrow passage, leading to the backyard of the house. He shouts to make himself heard over the tempest. Her apartment is back there. She lives in the back half of the house, and the folks in the front are out of town. So we can't go through the front? Theo shakes his head. I already tried. Her door's in the backyard. Ah. This is going to be trickier than I thought. Not only do the snow piles constrict the already narrow pathway, but the uphill entrance to said pathway is mostly blocked by a submerged car. How the fuck are we going to do this? Theo's head and ears start swiveling back and forth, taking in the scene. I can almost hear the gears turn in his brain. He gestures for all of us to huddle up. Okay, she can't walk in this, and she'll never get down the driveway, let alone across the street. I'll have to carry her out, but I don't want to risk that until we clear the path a little. Theo's eyes flit to the house, and then to Rofi. Rofi, I think you better be the one to check on her. I'll come with you to make sure she opens up, but after that I'm leaving her to you, okay? Okay. Good. I'm counting on you, Rofi. I know. After a long moment of eye contact, Theo turns to me and Ollie. You two start shoveling. We'll need as much of this driveway cleared as possible. If we can get our keys to get the car out of the way, that's even better. Even if we have to put it in neutral and push it, every bit of space helps. I nod, glad to receive clear, direct instructions. Tell the other two the plan once they get here. Have them start clearing the path across the street to the Robinsons. Once I get you inside, Rofi, I'll be going across the street as well. I need to make sure Tom has everything ready. Maybe I could even get him off his ass with a shovel, though I doubt it. As soon as you've cleared a good enough path, I'm carrying her out, no matter what she says. Everyone clear on their jobs? Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Then let's get started. Clock's ticking. Ollie and I immediately ducked into the driveway, as Theo and Rofi vanished around the side of the house. Despite his aversion to cold, Ollie is good with a shovel, clearly an old hand at this. He and I managed to clear most of the bottom half of the driveway when Artemis and Hunter arrive, carrying stout metal shovels on their shoulders. Where are we dropping, boys? You did not just say that. Theo needs us to clear the driveway, so maybe we can move the car, and then a decent path across the street to number 30. He's gonna carry her out, so... Say no more! Hunter immediately takes the shovel in with enthusiasm, and Artemis quickly follows, cutting efficiently across the snow-choked street. I found my gaze lingering on number 30, trying to catch a glimpse of its inhabitants. Their curtains, however, are pulled tight, and only the faint light shining through them suggests there is anyone home. I can't let Theo face him by himself, and if he and Tom start bickering again, it could jeopardize the whole operation. I look over at Hunter, tearing through piles of snow with a jaunty whistle. I think the boys have it covered. Tom will eat Theo alive if I'm not there to help. At that moment, I feel a tug on my sleeve. Hey, Leo? I don't want to tell you what to do or anything, but I'm wondering if we might be more useful inside. I was just thinking the same thing, actually. Wait, is Ollie gonna come with us in the house? Oh, that's different. To be honest, I stick my shovel straight upright in a snow pile and clap the powder off of my gloves. I want to help Theo talk to the Robinsons. Ollie's eyes widen in surprise. The husband is a real piece of shit and doesn't seem fair to send Theo in without backup. He nods slowly. Okay, that makes sense to me. I guess I would try to give Rofi in hand then. You'd really gonna put the overly anxious dinosaur in the same room with an erratic smoker with diabetes? How's that gonna help? Oh god, that's gonna be rough. Oh shit. Oh no. Rofi, I know you have some self-esteem, confidence issues in regards to you being, like, not really a doctor, but still have enough medical knowledge but not enough that people will trust you and consider you a real doctor. But oh my god, but you need to get your head in the game with this now. You have Ollie in there. As much as I love Ollie, and I still want a plushie. Developers, when you do a collab with like Pop Print Press or something so we can get plushies of these characters. I want an Ollie plush. But anyway, like, as much as I love Ollie, is he the best to be put in this situation? Listen, I'm just saying. I guess I would try to give Rofi in hand then. Oh, right. A flash of guilt colors my voice. I hadn't been thinking of Rofi at all. He did tell me he works in the emergency department, but this is hardly a standard situation, and I bet he would appreciate another set of claws. I don't think he's used to doing this kind of work alone. Not sure how much help I'll be, but I want to try anyway. I know how you feel. Theo reemerges from behind the car and begins making his way over to us, shaking his head and mumbling. How is she? Not good, even I could tell that. You'd think all of this would have dulled her attitude, but no such luck. I felt bad leaving Rofi in there alone, honestly. So, about that. Ollie looks over at me. I nod. I decided I'm going to go in and try to help out however I can. And I'm going with you to the Robinsons. He blinks at us in surprise. Hunter and Artemis can handle the shoveling. And a clear path won't help anything if we can't get her out of the house, or if we have nowhere to move her to. Theo runs a paw through his fur and grins. You two are right, as always. I appreciate the company. Ollie, come get any of us at any time if you think it's necessary. I will. Leo, let's go. Together, Theo and I picked our way across the street, not quite sure what to expect. Theo knocks 5 solid times on the thick wooden door, and we wait. After a healthy pause, it opens, flooded the snowy porch with lamplight. Well, come on in. You let in all the cold. We hurry inside, not need to be told twice. We're back at this house. That gruff, grumpy-looking groundhog could only be Tom Robinson. He even looks angrier in person. A dipped, causally furrowed brow and a tense, forward-leaned posture, as if at any moment he might lunge. He ignores me entirely and keeps his beady eyes fixed on Theo, as if he were a bomb that might detonate at any moment. The woman stands slightly behind him wears an entirely opposite demeanor, her entire body tucked tightly inward. Honey, you need to leave this man. I'm sorry, you need to leave him. Her eyes made constant little circles of the room, almost as if she were planning the best route to escape. Honestly, I feel you, honey. You need to go. I'll help you. Well, where is she? The others are getting her ready and clearing a path. I just want to give you one last heads up before you bring her over. Todd nods impatiently, hands glued to his hips. Double checking us, eh? You should know by now, Theo, that I'm as good as my word. Doubtful. Yeah, literally was thinking the same thing. Theo ignores her and plows onward. Can we set her up here, in the living room? That feels like the best option for her comfort. You'll still have the rest of the house to yourselves. He attempts to smile. I know Diana could be a bit much. If she's in here, you'll be able to escape her if needed. Tom looses a non-committal grunt, ignoring Theo's olive branch entirely. She could be far more than a bit much, and you know that. I just hope she behaves herself. Theo's smile starts looking a little forced. I hope so too. So, what else needs taken care of? He turns pointedly to Mrs. Robinson, hiding as she is behind her husband. Queen, you need to speak. Speak up. Use your words. You have a voice. Beth, will you need a hand with anything? Help in the kitchen or anything like that? Theo trails off nervously. We all turn to her, including Tom. She looks first at him, then at Theo, then quickly back down on her feet. No, I don't think so. Tom steps back in after only a few words. We've only got so much food here, you know. And it's not as if we can go grocery shopping right now. His wife's eyes flick over to him, an inscrutable expression on her face. I looked past the two of them into the kitchen, noted an open pantry door with a healthy stockpile of dried and canned food inside. Well, from his tone, Theo had clearly noticed the same thing I did. You guys are fucking assholes. Well, maybe not you, Mrs. Robinson, but your husband. But you need to speak up, girl. Live your best life. From the looks of your pantry, I'd say you're doing pretty well. That's fucking right, bitch! That's fucking right, ho! Tom's expression sours even further, which I hadn't thought possible. I seem to recall you saying that we could be snowed in for another week or more. That's why I agreed to help you with this in the first place. Actually, no, you didn't. You didn't agree at first. You didn't want to take her in. So unless you like to retract that statement, I want some certainty that my wife and I won't go hungry. Tom's voice catches and rips like a serrated blade, every consonant sharpened for maximum annoyance. I give Theo's sleeve a tug. It stepped forward into the conversation. If that's a concern, we have extra food and supplies to share. I copied Theo's tactic and addressed Mrs. Robinson directly. And we could bring clothes, towels, toiletries, and other stuff over from her house, so you don't have to worry about your own supply. Well, yes, that goes without saying. As Tom attempts, once again, to center himself in the conversation, back off, whore, Mrs. Robinson looks at me for the first time. You go, queen. Her eyes are purposefully blank, but... Leave me out of this, they seem to say. Girl, you need to speak up. I'm sorry, girl, you need to speak up. Come on. Just leave me alone. Girl, stop being so submissive. Fuck. Tom leans in a little closer, now so subtly positioning himself in between me and his wife. We are sticking our nets out here, you know. Do remember that. I know, yes. If there's a problem, you'll be hearing from me, understood? Yes, of course. For a long moment, Tom inspects me like a bug under a microscope. He's trying, I realize, to extend the argument, to find some foothold, some new thing to complain about. Very well then. With a dramatic sigh, he gives up and makes a show of checking his watch. The day has officially started. He turns to his wife. I suppose breakfast is in order, eh? She smiles slightly. Yes, I suppose it is. Bring my coffee up to the office when you have a moment. David should be awake by now, and I forgot to talk to him about that Heston job. Damn blizzard's gonna set us back months. Having apparently forgotten us, Tom turns and walks out of the room like a star actor leaving the set. Mrs. Robinson waits until his clumpy feet finish climbing the stairs, and a door somewhere in the house clicks shut. Then she turns to us, her gaze fixed on her shoes. You'll have to excuse me, but breakfast won't make itself. Girl, you need to leave him. Or kill him, honestly. We appreciate you welcoming us into your house like this. She nods quickly and turns to walk away. Beth. Theo steps forward and calls out, raising a paw as if to catch her. She stops jerkily in the kitchen doorway, turning only slightly back towards us. Theo seems to realize his outstretched paw, and awkwardly stuffs both back in his pockets. Thank you for your help and your support. His anxious thank you sounds more like an apology. For what? I'm not sure. Mrs. Robinson will do, Theodore. I'll have the couch ready for her in just a minute. Ooh, she doesn't like him. Because we're calling back in Rovy's route, she was okay with us calling her Beth. So now, but she's telling Theo to call her Mrs. Robinson. So she has some type of grudge, some type of dislike towards him. Maybe it's because he tends to argue with her husband all the time, and that probably causes, like, some type of negative atmosphere into the household. So maybe she does feel some animosity towards Theo. And that's why. Oof. And with that, her stiff-backed frame darts quickly into the kitchen and out of sight. For a moment, Theo stands and stares after her, absently wringing his paws. He mutters a quick curse under his breath and turns back to me. Well, that went about as good as it could have, and far better than I expected. Let's get out of here, yeah? I bet Rofi and Ollie are ready by now. I hope so. We head back, gratefully following the now mostly shoveled path. Thanks, boys. Hunter gives us a playful salute. All in a day's work. Theo and I follow around the side of the house and up to the apartment door. I turn the handle with an unwelcome squeak and force my way into the house. Oh yeah, the diabetes trip. Oh dear. I wonder how this is gonna go. The combined stench of cigarette smoke and mildew hits me like a wall. I recoil, and Theo almost bumps into me from behind. Steady there. You okay? Yeah, sorry, just... I wave a paw in front of my nose. Theo shakes his head, rolling his eyes. It's always like this. Try not to breathe too deeply. As we step through the door, stopping our boots on the nearly destroyed welcome mat, and now reads, Wolkro. I hear Ollie's voice from further in. Diana, I think Theo just arrived. We walk down the small entryway into the cluttered living room. I spot them immediately. The old woman glowers warily from her distressed armchair, one milky eye glaring past me into nothing. Even bundled in a thick coat, she looks tiny. Ollie stands next to her, almost perched on the arm, looking surprisingly calm. Here they are. Diana, this is Leo, and of course you know Theo already. Sure do. Her gruff, gratefully voice catches me by surprise. Considering how thin and frail she looked, I hadn't expected such a sharp, forceful tone. What decades of smoking will do to a voice box, I guess. Her eyes left off me and focused on the fox. You sure took your time, Theo. Tom give you trouble? Of course he did. Give me 5 minutes with the son of a bitch. I'll straighten him out. This woman is definitely drunk, I realize. She's good at hiding it, but her swaying movements and the lilt of her voice gives it away. Everything is already taken care of. We're set to bring you over if you're ready to leave. I've been ready. It's that puppy of yours who's holding us up. Wow, I do not like the way she said puppy. You mean Rofi? Ollie says gently. Yeah, whatever his name is. I've got a bone to pick with you, Theo. What else is new? She ignores him. You got quite the nerve sending some baby doctor to take care of me. That boy looks like he's 15. Ollie cuts in again. He's a certified healthcare provider and he's treating you for free. That's a pretty good deal, don't you think? I suppose. He's taking a sweet time, though. As is on cue, Rofi re-enters the room, stuffing what looks like a paw full of juice boxes into a beat-up old tote bag. I take a moment to examine his face, trying to gauge how things went. I guess somewhere between not great and not awful. Alright, Diana, I've patched your monitor, test strips, needles, juice. What about that purse I told you to get? She interrupts sharply. Yes, I've patched your purse as well. If you need or want anything else, we can always bring it over later. Ollie chimes in, smiling down at her. Yeah, I'll probably need a change of clothes at some point. Alright, Theo, we are pretty much ready to go. Great. Theo responds, clearly more than a little surprised by this fact. Let me just take a quick inventory here and we can head out. As Rofi and Theo start going over the contents of the tote bag, Ollie gestures me over and then turns to the old sheep. Okay, Diana, up you go. Don't rush me, Oliver, I'm old. I'm not rushing you, you were the one who said you were ready. She laughs, a sound like marble on a cheese grater, and flashes him a yellow, gap-toothed grin. Smartass. Ollie giggles. Oh, he's getting along with her. Oh wait, oh yeah, okay, Ollie? That's so funny, considering Ollie was never good with people. Everyone keeps misinterpreting what he said, but I guess if the person he's talking to is like a sarcastic, smartass, old woman, he probably has a chance. You know, that's so cool. That's cool. The ewe gathers herself and grips the arms of the low, slung chair. She pushes herself up about halfway, and then falls back down again. Just hang on a minute. After a few more failed attempts, Ollie quietly offers her an arm, which, after one final try, she takes. 1, 2, and 3. He gently but firmly maneuvers her upright and waits while she gets her balance. Thank you. Of course. She turns and addresses me for the first time. And just what are you looking at, Spotty? Spotty? What am I? Nothing. I'm just here to help if needed. Ha! Shut up once the hard work is all done, I see. I know your type. You're a gay! I blinked at her, momentarily at a loss for words. What's with that face? Ollie mounts a little apology and interrupts. Theo, we're ready for you. Danny gives me a last disdainful once-over, then calls out to Theo. You better not drop me, you hear? She chuckles and turns to Ollie. You know, I bet I could get him to carry you too. Want me to ask? Ollie giggles again. Oh, wait, why are they getting along? This music is like heroin and like anxiety inducing, but they're getting along. That's so adorable. Oh my god, Ollie! You found someone who matches you. Not if you want him to make it there. I wait quite a bit more than you do. Maybe next time, eh? I didn't have Ollie made friends with the toxic old woman on my bingo card for days. Same! 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 Ollie! You're absolute madman! I love you so much! That's so funny! That's so funny! I love this! But this has been a week full of surprises. Leo. At the sound of my name, I turn my focus away from the confusedly dynamic duo. Could you get the door for us? Oh, yes, of course. I hold the door open, wind tear a new breath into the musty apartment, as Theo bends down and scoops up the old woman with surprising ease. I know she keeps a tight grip on Ollie's hand, only let it go once clearly secure in Theo's arms. Here, Theo, right this way. I'll try to clear more of a path for you. Together, we guide the fox outside and around the house, with Ollie trailing closely behind. Theo takes every step with diligence and heavy certainty, eyes and limbs locked in tight focus. As he passes me, I sneak a glance at Diana. The old sheep looks smaller than ever, pressed up against Theo's broad chest. Her one good eye remains fixed on Ollie, who keeps pace with Theo without tripping him up. He mutters soft words to her as they travel, voice inaudible over the wailing winds. And at the head of the procession is Rofi, sharp-eyed and serious, leading Theo forward while keeping a close eye on his patient. After a collection of tense eternities, Theo mounts the steps at number 30, and Rofi pulls the door open. Theo immediately strides over to a plush sofa and deposits Diana on the cushioned seat. He kneels in front of her, fussing with her jacket and making sure she's comfortable. There you go, Diana. We've arrived. He attempts a well-worn smile. Thank you for flying Theo Airlines. Terrible in-flight service. Not even a drink menu. Bar service is for our VIP passengers only, I'm afraid. Ollie chirps, slipping a pillow behind her back. You should have splurged and gotten the upgrade. Unbelievable! This airline really has gone to shit, along with everything else. Why do I find them adorable? Staying in the rest of the room, I spot Rofi in the kitchen doorway, talking in hushed tones with Mrs. Robinson. With her husband absent, she almost seems like a different person. She listens intently, nodding and asking questions as he runs through the contents of Diana's medical bag, meticulously copying his instructions onto a small legal pad. She really seems to care. Though I can't help but notice the furtive, distrustful glances she sneaks at Theo. He seems to notice them too. The more time we spend in this house, the antsier he gets. Theo? He looks up and rearranges the same blanket on the same armchair for the 4th time. Huh? Oh, yes, Ollie, what's up? I think Rofi and I can handle things here for a while. Beth has very kindly agreed to let us stay to look after her. He gestures to the now snoring sheep on the couch. If the two of you want to head back to the house, you can go ahead. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I pulled next to Theo and grabbed the reins of the conversation. We can check in on the other two, make sure they got back okay. Time to pack it in, Theo. We're not being helpful anymore. You sure the two of you will be fine here alone? Oh, we'll be great. Don't worry about us. Theo inspects Ollie for a moment, a quizzical smile spreading across his face. You know, I'm actually not worried at all. You were really amazing with her. Ollie stuffs his claws in his pockets and shuffles his feet. Old people tend to like me. I don't know why. Because they're blunt, and you can be blunt, and that's why most people don't like you, because you're too honest, and they can't handle honesty. They can't handle anything about themselves. They can't handle facing their inner demons. Have I mentioned that I love Ollie? Well, that explains why I like you then. Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to bed. My stomach growls loudly. Maybe we eat first? I suggest, smiling sheepishly. I'm starving, and I don't want to make Mrs. Robinson cook for us as well. Right. Theo's face falls somewhat. Yes, I think it's time. With one final wave to Ollie and Rofi, the doctor so focused he barely even registers our leaving. Theo and I head for the door. Ahem. Leo, that was your name, yes. God damn it, why are you here? I turn, surprised, to see Tom stand stiffly at the base of the stairwell. I hadn't heard him come downstairs at all. Yes, that's me. May I speak with you for just a moment? What's with the politeness? Yeah, no, I'm scared. So he's gonna kill us. He's gonna walk us through his office, he's gonna brandish a knife, and he's gonna stab the fuck out of us. Why bother now, after being such a huge douche all morning? You, want me to wait for you? If you don't mind, I won't be long. He nods, clearly a bit nervous, but settles in near the front door with his phone. Tom beckons me forward, and I follow him partially up the stairs, until Theo and most of the living room is out of sight. I'll get right to the point. You seem like a nice kid, so I want to give you a little warning. Okay. How long have you known Theodore? I can feel my hackles rising at his question, but I keep my voice calm and even. A few months, why? To be fair, I hadn't really gotten to know him until this week, but I didn't feel like telling him that. I didn't like the tone of his voice one bit. So, not long at all then. Let me tell you something, kiddo. Don't call me kiddo. I've known that boy since he was in diapers, and ever since then he's been an arrogant, insufferable little shit. I feel my claws extend, and I ball my fist to keep it from showing. Always high on something, always playing hooky, always causing trouble for his elders and betters. His parents were like that too. A lot of pride and too little respect. Well, pride goeth before a fall, and the rotten apple doesn't fall far. You know, he worried that Aunt of his to death, poor thing. She was the only decent member of that family. A red-hot spike of rage pierces right through my chest, and my stomach coils like a viper. Take my word for it. People like him don't change. If that's how they grow up, that's how they stay. I don't care what kind of good Samaritan act he's putting on these days. I don't trust it for a second. He points a stubby finger at me like the barrel of a gun. You watch your back around him, you hear? Or at least watch your wallet. You stump-sucking piece of shit out! Leo, I'm gonna head back out now, but I'll meet you back at the house. Theo's voice angers me. Reminds me of why I'm here. It's not to argue with this shithead. This guy doesn't deserve my time. Deep breath in. And out. I swallow my retorts and dust off my best customer service face. Alright, sir. I'll take that into consideration. Now, if you'll excuse me, Theo and I should be going. His beady eyes somehow become even beadier. And suddenly, I see the trap I almost stepped into. I had spent all morning catching Theo whenever he came close to blowing up. And with just a few obnoxious sentences, Tom had nearly pushed me over the edge. I remember Theo's words from earlier. That's exactly what he's waiting for. The moment I start shouting at him, he'll take it as proof that he was right all along. I've had enough of this man. I turn on my heel and stride quickly down the stairs. I catch a surprised and concerned looking Theo by the arm and direct him forcefully towards the front door. Let's go. It's almost a relief to be out in the snow again. Dawn had fully broken while we were inside, bringing welcome daylight and a sense of relief. I walked wordlessly through the drifts, grateful for the silence. Theo naturally passes me with his longer stride, and then starts walking even faster. He must be eager to get home. I don't blame him for that. Though he's really starting to leave me behind. I picked up my pace, eyes fixed on the back of his fuzzy head. By the time we reach the house, I'm practically jogging to keep up. He holds the door open silently and we both shuffle in. Theo dumps his coat and boots and immediately heads for the kitchen, steps quickly even further. Whew, that was a lot. That moment he reaches the table, he collapses into that same noisy chair with a whoosh of breath, and buries his head in his paws. Even from across the room, I can see him shaking. Without a moment's hesitation, I find myself rushing over to him and laying a paw on his shoulder. His shivering doesn't even slow. Are you alright? I'm fine, he says slowly, voice muffled by his pause. I see visions of a younger Theo, hunched over the same table. I'm just so glad we weren't too late. Me too. Honestly, I have expected to walk over there and find her. Find her. I nod, then remember he can't see me. Yeah. I'm surprised she stayed there that long. I mean, what was she expecting? Honestly, I think she was going to let fate take its course. I think she was just waiting to die. Theo's words pierced my skin and arced through my veins like lightning. Sat in her cold house, in a howling windstorm, just sitting and breathing until the breathing finally stops. Who am I to judge? Because you were just waiting to die. And to think, I almost fucked it all up too. What? No, you were great. You knew just what to do and say, and you gave all of us really good directions too. I was serviceable, but only because the rest of you were there to fill the gaps. His head resurfaces from under his paws. I really couldn't have done it without you. Without you. I know you meant all of us, but my heart flutters just the same. Well, we were here. Yes, you were, and thank God for that. Theo smiles wearily, and the rising sun sets his ivory coat alight. For the second morning in a row, we sit across from one another at the reliable old table, tired but content. Can I get you a cup of tea or something? If you don't mind, I prefer a whiskey. No problem, where do you keep it, at the bar downstairs? Cabinet above the fridge. Should be shot glasses there too. Pour yourself one if you want. I give her shoulder one more pat, head over to the fridge, and swing the cabinet door open. Judging from the label, the whiskey looks top shelf. Must be for special occasions. The shot glasses by comparison look cheap and very, very dusty. I take the bottle down and bring the glasses over to the sink, where I give them a quick rinse. I haul it all over to the table and prepare him a hefty shot, pouring with my heart. He deserves it, after the day he's had. There you go. In one swift motion, he takes the glass and tips it down his throat, placing it back on the table with a long exhale. You know how to pour. I chuckle. All I did was fill it to the brim. Did you get yours already? You know, let's kiki. Wanted to get yourself first. I did a big whiff of the booze as I pour out my shot. The smell is wickedly sharp, masterfully engineered to dull everything else. Sorry, sure wait for you. Bad form not to toast. Don't worry about it, I won't tell anyone. Cheers. Down the hatch. That's a bit strong. Theo laughs. That's why I keep it up there. It looks pretty expensive, so thanks for sharing it with me. Of course, what's mine is yours. So your bed? I mean, we could always share a bed. Have you ever read fanfiction, Theo? You know that one trope about there only being one bed? With the two main characters checked into a hotel after specific circumstances, but they only have a one-bedroom room? Yeah. I know we have multiple rooms in here, and I know I have my sleeping bag and everything, but, you know, maybe your bed would be more comfortable. Even more comfortable with you in it. Yeah, I think that's right. I know that's right. I usually don't believe people when they say that, but I believe Theo. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, watching dawn clamber slowly through the icy windows. I sneak glances at him from time to time, watching as his face slowly shifts back towards worry. I can tell there's a question coming, and I think I know what it's going to be. If you don't mind my asking, what did Tom say to you right before you left? He eyes me with a measured gaze. He seems to already know the answer. I weigh my options. Tom's a grade A dick. I'm not particularly inclined to believe his moral judgments about anybody, let alone Theo. Why should I upset him by repeating Tom's bullshit? But honesty is the best policy. Then again, I don't want Theo to think I'm keeping something from him. It really feels like he's starting to trust me, and I don't want to jeopardize that. He warned me about you. Theo nods, unsurprised. He said you put on a good Samaritan act, that he's known you your whole life and that people like you never change. Theo snorts derisively and reaches for the bottle. I sit in silence as he pours and downs another shot. Well, do you believe him? Time slows as I study his face. Expect the tone of his voice. His soft eyes watches me closely as I watch him, looking for clues to my answer. He doesn't sound angry or resentful. More than anything else, he sounds tired. No, I don't. I mean, just look at you. You've worked yourself to the bone to house and provide for us. You've gone out of your way to help people you hardly even know. Compared to Tom, we had to twist his arm and let an old dying woman sit on his couch while we and his wife did all the work. If anyone has put on a good Samaritan act, it's him, and he's a piss-poor actor. Theo lets out a bark of laughter, tinged with relief. Always has been. Honestly, I almost punched him. I was this close. But then I remembered what you said. About how he always tries to get you to break first. Theo nods. That's his game. Bad faith manipulation. He'll push you until you stand on the edge of a cliff. Then tell you it's your fault when you fall. Now seems as good a time as any to ask. What exactly is your backstory with them? Theo sits perfectly still in silence, the resurgent wind clattering against the windows behind him. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I add hastily, wondering if I've gotten too familiar. No, that's alright. A wry chuckle. I'm supposed to hear myself say it, but I don't mind telling you. Yesterday morning was so cathartic, I've actually had to hold back telling you more stories. For your sake. It almost feels like confession. Except, when I confess to you, I feel no shame or fear. He rubs the back of his neck, embarrassed. Sorry, that's a weird thing to say. Nah, I don't think that's weird. As long as you don't start calling me father. Theo guffaws. No risk of that, I promise you. He settles more deeply into his chair and begins fiddling with the empty shot glass. Suffice to say, I made a lot of enemies growing up. That's shockingly easy to do as a Catholic, but I was especially disliked. And quite honestly, it was usually my fault. Theo stops mid-sentence, one of his ears flicking. I hear it too. Voices from the living room, coming this way. Theo glances apologetically at me, and quickly moves to put the whiskey away. He manages to close the cabin door just as Hunter Artemis entered the room. Morning, you two. Back to smiles. Morning, you two. Hunter sounds as chipper as ever, despite all the excitement. Does anything faze him? We really have to stop meeting like this. Artemis quips, heading straight for the fridge. I'm fucking starving. I don't want to cook anything. Who wants a sandwich? My stomach makes a brand new noise I haven't even heard before. I very desperately want a sandwich. Me! Alright then, go nuts. Artemis drops a clawful of witch makings onto the table with a thick, meaty smack. Y'all can make your own sandwiches. I believe in you. Yeah, of course, I was gonna make my own. Unless... No. I'll put on some coffee. Theo putters around the room as the rest of us claps on the food. If there's one thing I can do, it's make a sandwich. Condiments? Artemis calls from the fridge. You know what? I just had a really good chicken and Swiss sandwich yesterday. That was some good shit. I need to make more of that. I need to buy more turkey. I need to go shopping. Anyway, Artemis calls from the fridge. Just mustard, thanks. Mayonnaise. Ew, really? Yes, really. Mayo's delicious. But... Hunter, be very careful what you say next. Bad mouth mayonnaise and you don't get any mustard. I am in control of the mustard supply here, and I say you need to treat Mayo with more respect. Wow, I didn't realize I was sharing a table with actual criminals. Well, now you know. Leo, what's your opinion on the condiment kings? Artemis rattles the mustard at me threateningly. Hunter scrunches up his face even further. You know what? Actually, for the longest time, I didn't like mayo. I didn't know why, but as I grew up, I'm starting to appreciate mayo. Actually, fun fact. So I'm a baker. I think I mentioned that before in a few parts of old videos, but I'm a baker, and the one thing I like to do is I like to make all of my bakery goods vegan and gluten-free, and I'm actually really good at that. Don't knock it till you try it. If anyone of you likes to judge me that I make them vegan, let me tell you something. I'm not vegan myself, but I like to cater to a lot of people. And that's also where the gluten-free aspect comes from as well, because I grew up with siblings and a mother who has celiac disease, so they can't have wheat. So obviously it grew up to like make everything gluten free. It was really easy. We use like the Bob's Red Mill brand and all that, but the goal to make everything vegan, it's actually surprisingly easy. It's really easy. Just look up a regular recipe, and just replace all the dairy products with vegan products. So like for butter, I use Earth Balance, which is a really good brand. I recommend that. Use the sticks. You get the buttery sticks, because that's what they use. That's what they're used for. You can also use that for the frosting and everything. And then obviously frosting is like half butter, half shortening, so it's an easy fix. For eggs, however, you know that this is one life hack that people have done throughout the years, is that they replace eggs with mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is basically eggs and oil, and that works just fine. So I took that logic and applied it to vegan mayonnaise. So I used the Follow Your Heart Vegan-Naise brand, and that works just as fine. And let me tell you something, I make the best chocolate cupcakes, so you count on that. Anyway, but like I said, I like mayo now. I use it in my turkey and I use it in my sandwiches now. I make a meat. I love making a good turkey and Swiss sandwich with some romaine lettuce. Fuck, it's so good. But anyway, I like mayo. Sorry, Hunter, but I'm with them. I'm a proud mayo enjoyer, and I have logged on. Unbelievable! It's so fucking over. Good answer. You may keep your mustard privileges. I knew you were a real one. Well, none for me. You can keep your nasty ass egg spread to yourself. Alright, I will. The Tournament of Kings is not fit for peasants after all. Hey, who are you calling a peasant? I'll give you 2 guesses. Not even that fancy looking coat you wear can hide the poverty of your spirit. Oof. What's wrong with my coat? Artemis blinks, clearly regretting that comment, but Hunter quickly snaps back to normal. At least I have a coat. You're not fooling anyone with your 3 hoodies. I'll admit to being a little worried about that. How can you go out on those without fur? Still issue. But for real though, feathers can be just as warm as fur. Mammals are always surprised when they hear that. Huh, that is surprising to hear, yeah. Also, I usually run hot. A few small layers are enough. Do you own a real coat, Artemis? No. Well, I suppose it's better than nothing. Theo's phone vibrates loudly on the table and he snatches it up. Tom? No, thank God it's just Ollie giving me an update. Things seem to have stabilized nicely. Tom's the guy number 30? Yep, him and Beth, his wife. I didn't get much of a look at either of them. Artemis' eyes search me and Theo. Are they good people? An easy answer springs to my mind, but I wait for Theo to answer first. The fox sighs, putting down his phone and rubbing his eyes. A muffled laugh escapes from behind his paws. That's a difficult question. I thought it might be. Tom sucks. I just turn and stay quiet. Tom does suck. I have never liked him. You've known him a while? He and my parents went to the same church. My father and him would always talk after Mass. I just remember wanting to get out of there and the 2 of them wouldn't stop blabbing about interest rates and RRIs and the latest weather forecast. I guess maybe they were friends. Acquaintances at least. I remember Tom's words to me right before I left. His parents were like that too. A lot of pride and too little respect. They must not have been that close. Beth, or Mrs. Robinson, my mom, and I would always stand off awkwardly to the side, just waiting for them to get bored and packing in. Did they always have a kid to talk to, or? No, they did not. They never did have children. From the look on his face, I can tell there's some ugly history there. Hunter shrugs. The kids aren't for everybody. Amen. Theo responds absently, then, with some effort, picks up the third of the story. They've been together for... hell, I'm not sure. Longer than I've been alive. So, since the Triassic period? Not quite that long, no. Do you know how they met? They've met at work. Theo takes a long sip of coffee. He is, still, upper management for a construction company. She was his secretary. Oh, scandalous. Artemis' voice is perfectly flat, the voice of someone desperately trying to reserve judgment.
I don't know the full story, but I know when he proposed, she said yes, and became a full-time housewife. And he's never stopped treating her like his secretary.
That makes perfect sense given what I have seen. He talks to her like an employee. In her own house. I feel my closet standing again, and I cram them into my pockets. I see. Artemis' voice could cut glass and corrode steel. He seems like the problem.
He is.
Theo turns to me.
The way she behaved today, she's always like that. Dead silence whenever Tom is in the room.
The kitchen table falls into a similar silence. Artemis looks like he's planning a murder. I can see him weigh the odds. Hunter is a million miles away, deep in inscrutable thought.
So, how sad is this situation? Do you think she wants to leave but can't? Honestly, Artemis, I have no idea. She won't talk to me. I have a bit of a spotty history with them.
Oh yeah? Care to elaborate? Theo glances at me, and I understand his unspoken message. Not now.
I'd rather not.
Fair enough, no pressure. Artemis also looks over at me, clearly having noticed our exchange.
Suffice to say, I was a different person back then.
Theo fiddles with the handle of his mug, not making eye contact.
Worse. I was a worse person.
Artemis nods in understanding.
Gotcha.
He graciously changes the subject.
What about the old sheep? Was her name Diana? Yes, Diana. That indomitable battle axe herself.
She had a clawful?
2 clawfuls at least, and that's on a good day. Seems like you all handled her pretty well then.
Hunter returns to the conversation with his usual smile.
Which honestly amazed me. I mean, when I first left that apartment, I thought she and Rofi were going to strangle each other. I did not expect them to be even half ready by the time we got back. But Ollie was incredible with her. I have never seen her warm up to someone so quickly. They were even cracking jokes together. That's my boy.
I love their friendship. Artie says proudly, puffing out his chest.
All people love him for some reason.
That's what he said too.
So, Diana. Is she also on our shit list? No, she doesn't make quite the shit list. I like her quite a bit more than I like Tom. She's loud, rude, and generally difficult to be around. But at least you know where you stand with her. She's never missed her words, and she's never suffered fools. She just happens to have a very liberal definition of the word fool. And it's usually whoever's bothering her at the moment. She's been living in that apartment for decades, a real fixture of the neighborhood.
Just her?
Yep, just her. She has a daughter who lives overseas. From what I gather, they aren't on speaking terms.
Another frosty, distant family. The world is full of them. Are you referring to your family? Huh, Leo?
You know what? I think I'll tell you her background in detail if you're all interested.
Yes, please.
Sure.
I nod. Theo rearranges himself in his squeaking chair, clearly excited to tell the story.
As a kid, I thought she was a pain in the ass. Another grumpy old fossil whose only passion was to hate things. My aunts always respected her though. She never let me say anything bad about her, not without a lecture. That's the only reason I left her alone, really. And then, years later, when I learned her whole story, I realized MJ was right, as always.
Theo smiles distantly. This is the first time he's mentioned MJ without that wistful sadness coloring his voice. He rubs his chin with a paw.
Well, anyway, hopefully this would help contextualize her a little. She's a city girl, born here in the mid to late 30s, back when this was still a manufacturing town. Though it's hard to imagine that now. Her father owned one of the largest factories in the area, so they had plenty of money. She was well liked as a child, good schooling, etc. Towards the end of high school, things started to get serious with her then boyfriend, a suave greaser type with slicked back hair and a motorbike. I'm foggy on the details, but at some point the two of them decide that, as soon as she turns 18, they're gonna get married.
I find myself watching Theo closely as he tells the story. The way his eyes light up, the way his paws cut through the air. I never realized how much he talks with his paws.
And so that's what they do. On her birthday, they go to the courthouse and get hitched.
I'm guessing that doesn't end well.
Shh, Artemis, don't interrupt. You are correct, though. Her parents went absolutely ballistic. See, they didn't like their new son-in-law, not at all. Remember, this is the 50s. Even for that time, her father was an old-fashioned man. And he couldn't stand the fact that his daughter had bypassed him and gotten married without his approval. They fought bitterly about it. Shook the whole earth, I bet. And in the end, he cut her off completely. So, now it's just Diana and her man, scraping by, working whatever jobs they can find. Some months later, she gives birth to a healthy baby girl and names her after her mother, Rebecca. I don't think it did anything to bridge the gap between her and her parents, though. With a new mouth to feed, money gets tighter, tempers get shorter. She and her husband fight longer and more often. And then one day, he just hops on his bike and leaves. Just like that? Just like that. She was 21.
Damn! That's only 3 years in!
With a 3-year-old daughter and almost nothing else. She was my age. Yes, I suppose she was. So, what did she do? Whatever she could. Begged favors from friends for food, clothes, babysitting. Slept on couches, dug to the dumpsters, worked mornings, worked evenings, sometimes worked nights. The first few years were hell, but she never once went to her parents for help. And eventually her luck turns. She lands a job as a saleswoman for a big cosmetics company, and her career really takes off from there. Soon she's traveling all over the country, meeting clients, building up her contact list.
She was a saleswoman? That surprises me given her sour demeanor. Theo's eyes twinkle.
Difficult to believe, huh?
I mean, she's so rude.
Well, to know if she was always as bad as she is now. A lot of time has passed since then, almost 60 years. Also, she was gorgeous back in the day, a real bombshell. I bet that helped. Not that she needed it, but... Again, this was the 50s. It was a man's world back then, far more than it is now. She cut right through all that. A sharp business suit, black high heels, and zero appetite for nonsense. An absolute powerhouse.
He speaks almost reverently. It's clear he admires her.
Do you have any old pictures of her from back then?
Theo roars with laughter.
No, Hunter, I don't. You could ask her for some. I think I'll pass. Smart man. Anyway, business booms, she starts making money hand over fist, and finally there's enough to eat and pay the bills, and then some. She buys that apartment, number 27, and she and Rebecca move into it. Well, Rebecca moves in, certainly. Diana doesn't spend much time there. She was always on the go.
I already know the answer, but I asked anyway. And how did Rebecca feel about that? A sad smile.
Not good. I know very little about the relationship, but considering how often Diana was away, it can't have been perfect. You said they don't talk anymore, right?
Hunter's deep golden eyes are slightly downcast, arms folded tightly across his chest. Theo shakes his head.
They do not. I don't know when it happened. I don't know if they have one explosive falling out or just gradually drifted apart and fell out of orbit with each other. All I know is that eventually, when she was old enough, Rebecca left number 27 behind, and I don't think she ever came back.
She never came back home. Maybe that was for the best.
So now it's just Diana by herself. Time passes as it tends to. She works, she travels, she works some more. She has even less reason to come back now, so she spends most of her time away. She reaches retirement age. She keeps working a bit longer after that. By this point, her company, the cosmetics corporation she had helped grow into a national chain, is itching to get rid of her. It might have been because she was getting grumpier and more argumentative. It was probably because she just wasn't young and pretty anymore. All her old contacts were aging and dropping out of the game as well. She could have migrated to upper management, I suppose. She definitely had the experience. But I don't know if she was built for it. She wasn't boardroom material. She's too blunt, too honest. She won't brown nose, steam, or schmooze. She spent all of her time working and working hard. And, quite honestly, people like that never become CEOs. Management starts to gently, but soon not so gently, shut her out, until she has basically no choice but to retire. So, for the final time, she moves herself back here, to the city she was born in, and settles into number 27 by herself. And she's been there ever since, probably sitting in the same chair we found her in. These days she doesn't leave the house. She even gets her groceries delivered. Probably her cigarettes too, if there even is a delivery service for those.
Theo trails off, and we all sit silently, lost in thought.
You know her story very well. Where did you hear it? Straight from the sheep's mouth. Really? She told you herself?
Theo nods, smiling broadly.
She was absolutely sloshed. I was over there fixing, or attempting to fix, her old boiler. And I got nosy. Picked up an old photograph of her and her daughter, when Rebecca was really young. God, she really was beautiful.
Easy there, Theo. Cool your jets.
Hey, give me a break. My jets are cool. Anyway, I decided it was a good idea to ask her about it. She snatched it out of my paws and gave me the most vicious ear beating about not touching her shit. About 20 minutes later, I'm in the basement working on the boiler. All of a sudden, she comes swaying down the stairs, flask in hand, and just starts talking. Told me the whole story. I'm sure there were details I forgot, but I was so enraptured I stopped paying attention to the boiler I was supposed to be fixing. Nearly broke the damn thing.
I stayed to look at Artemis, remembering Ollie's story about their first meeting. Judging by the wayward look in his eyes, the bird seems to be remembering the same events.
Do you think she'd be upset if she knew you told us?
Theo opens his mouth, pauses, and furrows his brow.
I'm not sure.
He gives us a guilty smile.
Now that I think about it, I'm not even sure she remembers telling me. Maybe it's best if it doesn't leave this room. No problem.
Aww. Time passes as it tends to. The sun makes its way across the leaden sky, the only object in this snowbound city still in motion. And after only a scant few hours of daylight, it vanishes. Time is strange in the storm. It expands and contracts at will, hours slipping away like shadows while the minutes crawl by. Night finds me and Theo curled up comfortably in the living room. Theo's nose is buried in a book, the rustling of his turning pages the only sound beside the fire. I was immediately not reading a book. I was enjoying some mindless scrolling time and feeling only mildly bad about it. As the sunlight slips away, Theo once again catches me in the middle of a big yawn.
Yes, I agree. Frankly, I am goddamn exhausted.
He looks it. He wears it well, though.
I know it's early, but I've been thinking for the last hour that I might just get into bed for a bit and see what happens. In fact, sitting out loud convinced me. I'm gonna do my best old man impression and go to bed at 6.
Alright, Theo, you do that. Honestly, I think I'll join you before long. As soon as Ruffy and Ollie get home. Did I just say home? Theo smiles sweetly at me. Clearly he knows it too. You know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
Theo shuts the book and rises from his chair.
I'm sure it was just a slip of the tongue, but I hope this place feels like home, at least a little bit. That would make me happy. And it would make her happy as well. She built it for that reason. Anyway,
he rubs the back of his fuzzy neck, embarrassed.
Sorry for getting all serious again, I just can't stop doing it. Don't worry about waking me. Just come up whenever you're ready.
Alright, I'll be sure to make as much noise as possible.
Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must prepare for my nap of indeterminate length.
Godspeed. Theo departs, the creaking stairs orchestrating his exit. I'm not sure how long I wait. I may even have closed my eyes once or twice. It's hard to say. Eventually, they return. I'll pull myself out of my cozy armchair and head over to greet them. Hey guys, welcome back.
Oh, hi Leo.
Hey. They look and sound absolutely exhausted.
Everything sorted and settled? Can we put this whole mess behind us? No.
Ollie says flatly, his voice entirely monotone.
I might go back tomorrow or the day after. Probably tomorrow. Just to check her sugar and make sure she's taking her medicine. Which she definitely won't be. And I promise I'd come back too.
You don't seem excited about that. Ruby shakes his head. Ollie? It seemed like the two of you were getting along back there. He shrugs.
She's kind of tiring. She's extremely tiring. She won't listen to me at all and talk shit constantly.
Ruby stops himself and takes a deep breath.
It's fine. I'm just ready to go to bed.
Same. For what it's worth, I think you two did an admirable job. I shuffle my paws on the carpet. I'm sorry for volunteering, everyone. I know I should have asked first, but
don't be silly.
Ruffy cuts me off.
This is what I do, after all. This is what I'm trained for.
He sways, eyes drifting closed.
And I am literally about to fall asleep standing up. Okay, bedtime. Let me walk you to your room. I wish I could sleep forever.
Ruffy mumbles as the two of them mount the first few stairs.
Good night, Leo.
Night, you two.
Let's hope tomorrow is normal. Whatever that means.
We'll see. Alone again. We all seem to have split off. Most of us to bed. Maybe I should do the same. No sense in delaying it. I'll have to sleep sometime. Ruffy and Ollie's doors are already shut tight, with only faint light shining from underneath Ollie's. Their tiredness doesn't surprise me, really. We did so much today, and we started so early in the morning. For the second day in a row. Standing silently in the dark hallway, the realization washes over me. We saved a woman's life today. She is alive and breathing because of us. Pride buoys up within me. An emotion I haven't felt in a long time. I open Theo's bedroom door and slip silently inside, running through my nightly rituals as quietly as possible. I settle onto the air mattress, gritting my teeth at the unavoidable noises it makes. Sleep envelops me greedily, like it was waiting for my return. Let me make it in time. What? Is that a broken window? Oh no, it's Theo. What's happening? Wait! No, 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 no. No, that can't be it. Wait, no. No, no, no. No. Remember when like MJ said be at the doctor's appointment. I have a doctor's appointment. Please be there. And he said I will. He doesn't believe her. I think maybe he's actually trying to reach there. He crashed his car. Like what if he was actually trying to get there, but he crashed. No! No, this wasn't the doctor's appointment. No, he missed the doctor's appointment. No, he definitely missed the doctor's appointment. He was trying to get there to see MJ in time. Oh, hell no, that's fucked up. He did get to see her before she died. I awake, again. I feel nothing within and nothing without, save the telltale stare of my weary eyes. In the end, the tears prevail. They always do. A small gap in the caged snow and ice reveals a watery full moon, the only source of light in this dark, timeless space. There is magic here. A profound magic ushered in on the moon's breath that strips away pretense and reveals the world anew. In this place, there is no fear, no shame, no hesitation. The starlight has washed it all away. For the second time that day, I rise softly from my crumpled sheets, driven by some unspoken urge. This time he is there.
Damn. Couldn't sleep either, huh?
His voice is low, husky, cracked from hours of silence. My own voice breaks. I clear my throat. I nightmare. I don't elaborate. He doesn't pry. In this moment, I can't help but drink in the sight of him. Bathed in shifting moonlight, the ripples of his clothes and blankets casting dancing shadows. His tousled white fur, the faint outline of his whiskers, the gentle, elegant curve of his snout. I looked selfishly, feverishly, as if this opportunity will never come again, and he looks back. In this silent exchange, I'm not sure if he invites me, or I asked him, or if the two of us simply understood what this is what we want. I rise fully from my bed and crawl into his, tucking the warm, soft blankets around me. I shift a little closer. He moves his arms slightly. I tilt my head. He nods imperceptibly. And I fall into him, pressing myself tightly against his side. A strong arm envelops me and pulls me closer. I dig my snout into his warmth and let out a breath I've been holding for years. It escapes as a soft, shaky rumble, half joy, half catharsis. Fuck, I needed this. I needed to be held, to be anchored. For so long, I'd been simply floating, drifting aimlessly through the world. Here, tucked snugly under Theo's arm. I'm on solid ground once again. Nestled against his side, I feel tangible. I feel real. I don't bother controlling my purse. They are my song to him. The simple proof of my joy. If we stay like this, just like this, I would sing for you forever. Wait! Ah, that's it! That took way too longer than I thought it would. That was a sweet way to end this. I thought it was gonna end with just seeing the empty hospital bed. I was gonna be like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But oh my god, so he was too okay. So judging from that little sequence, I'm guessing MJ had a doctor's appointment. She probably had cancer or some other debilitating disease at one point. And that scene was the scene where she was like on her deathbed. She's like dying and everything. And he's rushing over to her. But he crashes his car. And he's trying to make it there in time. But he didn't. Her body is gone. He was too late. Fuck. Oh my god, this is a long game. You know, I haven't played this long in a minute, actually. Oh my god, we finally caught up. Until the next route update. Oh god. That was devastating, but also that was so sweet. They shared one bed. They followed my advice. There was only one bed. And we got to learn more about Diana. That was interesting to hear. Now I have to wait months before another update. I'm devastated now. But I think by the time this video comes out, it would already be October, so we're gonna be playing some spooky games. I believe, like spooky visual novels and everything. In a specific game, I have an idea to play. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for clicking on this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, and subscribe if you're really interested. I'll leave a link to the game in the description below if you want to go play for yourself. I'll also leave links to my Twitter and Blue Sky if you want to support me on those platforms. And as always, I'll leave a link to the visual novel me and my good friend Zid the Red Panda made for the furry Game Jam called When You Are Mine. Please don't show your support to it. If you do enjoy it, maybe consider rating and commenting on it on itchio. We love reading those, it makes our day. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!